guys, sorry this video is a couple days late, but I wanted to do it outside because it is gorgeous out. I've been sitting in the park working in my art journal all day and finally got the camera out to tell you about Blick Matte Acrylics. This was one of the supplies I got in the supply haul video from last week, and I had a bunch of people ask for me to use this one, so I thought I'd start off with it. I also want to show you the winner of the moleskin notebook that I drew on, and here's what it looks like. And the winner is, and this week I'm going to be giving away 3 bottles of the Blick Matte Acrylic, so make sure to leave a comment below. Now I'm going to get into my art journal and discuss the pros and cons of this new product and how it might work for you. So here is my art journal, and this is the first time that I used the Blick acrylic paints, or the Blick Matte Acrylic paints, was on this page. This is a gessoed surface in my Dilutions journal, and it actually blends pretty well over the gesso. It did start to get muddy, and the yellow is under there somewhere, and it did start to get muddy. So this is definitely not a paint for you if you enjoy blending your own colors or mixing paints. Since they are opaque mixtures, they're mixtures, which means that they have several different colors in them and they're not listed on the actual bottle. If you go back to color theory, you could have 2 primary colors mixed in here, and if you mix that again with a different primary, then it's just going to make mud. So these are definitely for people who like to work fast and don't want to mix their own paint colors. One of the things I have noticed is that certain colors will dry darker than they look when you apply them. Now you do get very smooth, opaque coverage, so this will cover a large area very quickly, and the coverage is fantastic on it. So it does cover very well. I'll put down another color next to it. So you can see how well this covers. Again, I'm working over gesso, but it does just the same. Now, as you see, once I get into that other color, it's going to get kind of muddy and yucky. So just be careful, or know that that's going to happen, or do several layers. And you know, that works as well, especially when you're using light colors like this yellow light. Now, one of the great things about using these matte acrylic paints in your art journal is that the pages will not stick. That's one of the things that causes them to stick, is using glossy paints. Like I have this one here that actually stuck together because this is all glossy paint. But if you use the Blick matte acrylic paints in your art journal, they won't stick, which is great. Even now when I run my hand over it, it's not glossy. They're also not chalky. That's one of the things I don't like about using craft paints, is they get that chalky feel to them, and it doesn't. It feels exactly like any other paint would on the page. And the pigment load, if you notice, is really great with these. So there's not like a ton of water versus pigment in there. And they're $1.99 each, so they're really actually a great price. And if you have a Blick card, you save 10% off of that, which usually you don't have to pay tax then. The only things that I don't like, and I don't have the example here to show you, is that if you work over glossy paints, for example, I had a painting that I had painted the whole background with a black paint. Like, these are really glossy paints. And if you work over the glossy paints, you're going to get streak marks in your whatever you put over it. So if I try to put a little bit over this, it gets streaky. It doesn't work as well over the glossier paints that you might be using. So keep that in mind when you're layering. Kind of like how that's toning that whole area down. They also need to dry completely before you do any layering over them, because for some reason these paints like to activate back up again when you do another layer over them. So the pros are, they're great if you don't like mixing paints. The journal pages that you do with them won't stick together. They're opaque colors, with a great pigment load, and they don't dry chalky. They're also inexpensive at $1.99 each. The cons are that some of the colors will dry darker than they are when you apply them. You can't really do any color mixing with them, and layering has to be done when each layer has completely dried. All in all, I would say that the Blick Matte Acrylics are a great investment for you if you're a new art journaler or someone who's still learning to play with paint. But if you already have a bunch of your Liquitex or golden paints, then I wouldn't say go out and buy a whole new set of these paints. Personally, I like having a limited color palette because I can work out of my couch box with them very easily. I can add down great fast backgrounds, and they probably will look really cool on a jelly plate. So what do you think of the Blick Matte Acrylic paints? Have you gone and looked at all the colors that are available? Because some of them are delicious colors. And if you're someone who has pages that stick together, these probably would be a great investment. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next week. Bye!